If you are building an application for an organization or a client, there must be one of the most critical part, that is the authentication of users. And there are a bunch of ways to do this job, but in this section, we will authenticate our user using the Firebase authentication. Firebase allows us to authenticate our user using different auth methods like Google authentication, Facebook authentication, email authentication, and many others. Firebase email authentication provides us the secure and customizable way to register and authenticate user with an email and password. And it also allows us to manage user accounts and data and integrate with other Firebase services to provide a seamless user experience. So in this section, we will use the email authentication from Firebase to authenticate user in our Flutter application. So first of all, in here, in our week 2 directory, I just create the 21 Firebase email auth. And inside this, we have 3 dart libraries or dart files. The first one is auth success page, sign in page, and sign up page. Because first of all, we will sign up our user to the application, and that credential like the email and password will be stored in the Firebase, and next time if our credential is stored in the Firebase, simply will come and sign in our user in the application. And if we sign up or sign into the application, simply we will navigate our user to the auth success page. And the auth success page and the sign in page and the sign up page are similar to the 16 section form validation, where we are validating the email and password field. And I just copy the code from here and simply change the simple content from the page, and I change the app bar to the sign in, like this is our sign in page, and here I just put some navigation. If I click this don't have an account sign up, simply this will navigate us to the sign up page where we have an additional field username, but we are not going to storing this username anywhere, but just from distinguishing this sign up page from the sign in page. That's why I put this additional field in here, like this is our sign up page and this is our sign in page. So first of all, to create our user in our Firebase, first of all here we will sign up to the application, and then that credentials, email and password will be stored in our Firebase, and then we will sign in here. So in both cases, if we sign up or sign into the application, that will navigate us to the success page, and in other application that success page can be our home page. Like if user is signed in, so we do not want the user to be still in the sign in or the authentication page. So we want the user to go to the next pages like the home page to do something, whatever the functionality of that particular application. So that's it for these 3 pages. First of all, they are not working. When I click this, it's simply saying form must not be empty, and when I put some data in here like put the email and a password, this will simply navigate us to the success page. But now we want some database to store our credential in there, and next time if we come and write our credential, this will simply check if that is in the database. Simply on that base, simply send us to the success page or the home page. So for that, we will use the Firebase to authenticate our user. So first of all, to work with authentication, you simply have to move to your browser. Simply come to this authentication tab. If you don't have this, simply go to the build and simply select this authentication. So this will also be created in the project shortcuts. And next here, we don't have any sign in or sign up method enabled. So to enable this, in here in the first tab selected in the authentication tab, we will simply click this, and here are all the methods that Firebase allow us to authenticate our user in our application. The first one is email, password, Google, Facebook, Play Games, Phones, Game Center, Apple, GitHubs, and many others. So we are going to use the email and password authentication. Simply we will click this and we will enable this and simply save this. So our sign in method of email and password is successfully enabled. And now let's go to the users, and now we will see this area just like this. Now if a user is created, it will be shown up in here. Like let's create a manual user in here and type some email for him, like let's say john@gmail.com, and password from 1 to 6, add the user, and simply we will see our users in here just like this. There will be the email, there is the provider, that's the time, that's the sign in, and user ID, that is the unique ID for the user. So that's how our user will looks like when it's created in the Firebase authentication. Simply now delete this account from here And now let's go to the Android Studio. So to work with Firebase authentication, we need one dependency to have in our pubspec.yaml file, that is the Firebase Auth. So using this dependency or package, we will authenticate our user in the application and you will store that credential in the Firebase authentication. Now after this, simply pubget. After the pubget is done, simply close this and move to your sign up page, just because we are going to perform first the sign up and then we will go for the sign in, just because first we will create the credential or create the user with the email and password credential in the Firebase, and then we will go for the sign in to use that credential and sign into the application. So from here also navigate to the sign up page. Now we need the data from the fields. Now to extract that text or the data from the fields, we need to have some controllers in here. That will be these text editing controllers. The first one is to extract the text from the username field, and the second one is to extract the email from this second text field, and the third one is to extract the password from this third field. And again, this username will not be used or stored anywhere, but just for again distinguishing it from the sign in page, we are just creating or putting that username field also in here. Simply now go for the fields here. First we have the username and put the controller in here, just like this, and same for also the other text form fields. So simply copy this and go for this email, paste it in here and change this to the email controller, and the same for the password, paste it in here and change this to password controller. Now we will be allowed to extract the text from the fields using this controller, and it has the property of text. So simply we will extract this text from the fields using the specific field controller.text. So now we have got the controllers, and now here in the login method we are going to do some configuration. So now remove this navigator, or let's cut it from here and paste it in here, and for now comment it out. So now if the form is validate, we will do something for this login, or this is not the login but this will be the sign up. I just copy it and change everything, but I forget to change the name of it. So anyways, I just changed it now. It will be sign up but not the login. Now press F2 to track this error. Here it is. Now put the sign up in here. Now here in the sign up method, if the current state of form is validate, now what we will do in here, first of all, we will take the instance of Firebase Auth, and that is coming from the package we have added recently in our pubspec.yaml file. Now also go for importing this package Firebase Auth, and next after this we will do put the await method, as we are going to call any future method. And for this we also have to make our function asynchronous. And next from this auth method we will call the create user with email and password. That is coming from this Firebase Auth package, and simply we take the instance of it and simply we call the create user with email and password from this auth. And here this require the email of the user and the password of the user. So simply we'll take this email from the controller of the email. We will do for the email controller.text, and for the password controller.text, and also put the semicolon in here. And next, if the user is signed in or sign up or the credential is created in the Firebase, simply what we will do in the then method of this future, we will open the body for this, and here now we will cut this method from here and paste it in here, and now uncomment this. Simply we will navigate our user to the success page, and also for showing some loading indicator if the user is signing up. So for that, in this stat simply create one boolean field and set it to false, and after this simply come down here, and where is that button, a text in here, we have this login, and this must be sign up like this. And in the child, now we will check if is sign up was equal to true. Simply we will return the circular progress indicator, otherwise there will be the text. Now for now let's make it false to check it out that how this is going to look like. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, and also change its color to colors white. Now if the user is signing up to the application, meaning that if it's processing, we will show the circular progress indicator. Otherwise, there will be the sign up text. So now let's make it true, and we will only show this indicator whenever this is signing up is true. Now we will manage this is sign up variable in here in this method. Now when this method is first called and the field was validated and the form was validated, simply first of all we will set the stat to update the stat of the widget, and we will set the isSignUp value from false to true. When this signup is called, we will simply set this isSignUp value to true. So here we will get the circular progress indicator in the button instead of the text. Now when this process is completed, we will copy the same setStat method, and in here we will set this stat to false, and then this will navigate us to the success page. And that was it for the sign up of the user. Now how to start your application. To reset everything, after your application hot restart, simply go to the sign up page and then simply type your username, and let's say John123, and we are not going to store it somewhere, so let's keep it just like this. And our email is going to be john@gmail.com, and password will be from 1 to 6. Sign up, and we have seen some little indicator when this was processing, and when the user sign up to the application, they simply set this sign up to false and then simply navigate us to the success page, and you can see we got our success page. Now after this, simply go to your browser to see if there is our credential stored in our Firebase or not. So we are on our browser and simply restart this tab. So we got our john@gmail.com in here, and the provider created sign in at this time and the user unique ID. So we have successfully created or signed up to our simple Flutter application, and now it's time to go for the sign in. So simply move to your Android Studio, and next is to go for the sign in and change this name to sign in. And here for now let's cut this out and paste it in here and comment this out. Go to the sign up page and copy this auth instance from here and paste it in the validate and import this in here. After this, simply copy the sign in and press the F2 to track this error and paste this sign in the place of the login. Now next in here we will do make this asynchronous, put the await in here, and from the auth, now this time we will call sign in with email and password, and inside this sign in page we also need the controllers to extract the text from here. So simply from the sign up page we will copy these two controllers, and also in here not forget to dispose these controllers just like this in the dispose override method in order to avoid some memory leaks. So after copying this email and password from the sign up page, now let's go to the sign in page, and in this state simply paste them in here, and also go to the sign up page and copy this dispose override and paste it in here. Only remove the username from here, and here we need to do two things. Controller, put the email controller for extracting the email text from the sign in page, and for the controller we will get the password controller, and that's it. Now in here sign in with email and password. Now from this method we will extract the email controller.text, and for the password the same password controller.text, and when this completes we will do the same job. Simply open the body for this and cut this, paste it in here and uncomment this. And again, for showing some loading indicator if the user is signed into the application, simply go to the sign up page again, and we need this boolean variable in here. So simply in this stat again we will paste it in here, and this time we will name it to sign in, and here we will check in the button of the sign in page. Here we will check if the sign in was equal to true, we will show the circular progress indicator with the colors.white, and otherwise we will show the text with the sign in of the button. That's it. Now after this, simply first of all, inside this method we will set the sign in variable to true. When the process completes, simply we will set this to false. Now this was for the sign in, and that is really similar to the sign up. The only difference is that of the method. Here we have the sign in with email and password, and in the sign up we are simply calling here this create user with email and password. So that is the only difference in the sign in and the sign up page, and all of the other work of the sign in and the sign up methods are quite similar. Now after this, if I hot start the application, now I supposed to be on the success page as I am signed up to the application, and now I don't need to sign in again. So you can see we got again here the sign in page. So that's wrong. Now if I sign up to the application, if I hot to start now I supposed to be in the home page or in the success page. So again I am in the sign in page, and the status starts and it don't recognize if I am signed in or not. So to overcome this, we simply have to move to the main, and here I replace this simple material app with this block builder of the theme. So if you want the code of this, simply you can uncomment this and take this for a theme. So for a sign in, I simply replace this with simple material app. Now here we will wrap this material app with the widget that will be stream builder, and in the stream method we will call the Firebase Auth instance .auth stat changes method, which is the stream method of user, which give us the user, meaning that. And here now we will check the condition. We will check if our snapshot has data, meaning that if auth stat changes and the user is authenticated to the application, simply we will return the success page. Otherwise, if the user is not signed in, simply we will return the sign in page, and that's it. Now the user is signed in. You have seen in some while ago I have signed up to the application, and now if I hot restart the application, now this will simply navigate us to the success page. That is because our user is signed into the application. Now here in the auth success page, in the app bar, let's create an action property, and inside this there will be an icon button, and its icon will be exit to the application. Now if I Ctrl S to reload, and I will get nothing. That is because, let's see which success page we have put in here. That is the success page, so there must be auth success page, and then Ctrl S to reload, and we will get this exit to the app icon in here. And in here, simply when this is clicked, we will do from the Firebase Auth instance, we will call the sign out method, and in the then method, when this completes, simply this will navigate us to the sign in page. Simply we are now signing out our user from the application. Now after this, simply hot restart your application. Now I must be in the same success page as I am signed into the application when I have put my credentials and simply sign up to the application. So now when I click this, simply this will navigate us to the sign in page. Now again if I hit restart, now again I must be in the sign in page, and that's what I want. My email and credentials are stored in the authentication. Now when I enter that credential in the same sign in page, and you already know that we have write the logic for that. Now when I put the email john@gmail.com and the password from 1 to 6. Now when I sign in, simply this will still navigate us to the success page. And that was it for the sign in and the sign up, and also for the sign out. Now let's log out again, and let's go and create one more user to our simple application to check this out. So let's see, this will be Steve Jobs, and its email will be jobs@gmail.com from 1 to 6 password, sign up to the application, and we got the success, how to start the application, and we will still be on the success page as we have signed up to the application. And if I sign out and go to the browser and restart this tab, simply we will get the jobs also in here. Now go back and put the jobs in the sign in @gmail.com and password from 1 to 6, sign in, and you will still sign into the application. But in case what if we enter some wrong email? Now sign into the application and this will go at the infinite state and the indicator will not stop, and in the run command this will give us an unhandled exception. Here you can see unhandled exception. It's saying there is no user corresponding to this identifier. The email the user may have been deleted or something else. So now we are going to catch some exceptions when something like this occurs. If user enter wrong email, if user enter wrong password, and if the user already exists in the database on that specific email, so we are going to catch that specific errors or exceptions now. Now how to start your application? So now first of all we will catch exceptions in the sign up page. So here we have a simple method of sign up, and here we are calling the create user with email and password to create our user in the Firebase, so that we will be allowed to next time sign in to the application in order to not create the user again. So in here, that is the complete method. Yes, that is. Now we will simply cut this from here, and you already know from the dart codes to handle the exceptions, we know that we have to put the try catch. So let's put it. So we got our try catch block, and simply in the try block paste your method inside, and if the exception is unknown, like you don't know about the exception, simply catch that and that will come in this E. Simply print that out or show it up in the toast, and that's it. But if you know about the exception, like that specific exception can be thrown from a specific task you're performing, so in that case we can use the on clause, and in front of it we can put that specific exception that we know about that can be thrown or that can occur in that specific task we are performing in the try block. So here we know that we are authenticating our user or creating our user in our Firebase. So here the exception can occur, that is Firebase Auth exception. Now here we will check some different conditions on the specific Firebase exception codes, and according to that we will show some toast if that exception is occurred. So next time we are not letting our circular progress indicator in here to be again in the infinite state, but instead we will show an exception and simply will stop that indicator, like to again put your credential, there's something wrong in the credentials. So that's it. Now here we will check if the e.code, meaning that if the exception was email already in use, simply we have to show a toast, and we will say inside the account already exists for that email, and this Flutter toast is coming from the package of Flutter toast. So if you don't have this package, simply edit into your pubspec.yaml file. Here you found this Flutter toast package. So simply you must have this if you want to use the toast in your Flutter application. So that was the first exception that we know that can be thrown from this specific task we are performing, like to create user with email and password. There can be an email that is already in use, so if it's already in use, simply we can show the toast on that specific exception. And next exception in this case is going to be if the invalid email is entered, meaning that if the format of the email is not valid, simply we will show and toast the email address is not valid. And next condition in this case is going to be if the password was weak, and these exceptions are also handling, we are directly handling them from the fields, like here we are checking if the password was weak, like if characters was less than 6, simply will say must be at least 6 characters. But also here Firebase also provide us these exceptions with that code, so we can also catch them and show a toast in here if the password was weak or invalid format of the email. And that was it for these exceptions. And in the else condition we will do simply show a toast with the specific error that has been caught, and here this is not going to be print, but instead this will be a Flutter toast just like this. So we have successfully handled our possible exception while creating our user in our Firebase. So if none of this exception match, simply we will show this else condition error, and that error will be shown up in the toast. So that will be it for the sign up. And now one more thing here, if some exception occur, we also have to stop the indicator. here. So in the starting, when an exception occurs, first of all we will stop the indicator, and then we will have to show some toast according to the specific exception that has been occurred. So that was it for this sign up method, and now let's go for the sign in, and then we will come on testing on this. So let's go to the sign in, and here now again we know that simply cut this out and put the try catch. So we got this try catch block. Inside the try, paste your code of sign in with email and password, and on here on when some exception occurs while signing in with email and password. So there will also be some exception according to this task we are performing. So in here we will check if the user not found. Simply will show a toast user not found for that specific email, like we are signing into the application and that specific user or email is not in the Firebase Authentication tab. Simply we will show user is not found. And that's it for this first exception. Next exception is going to be if we enter some wrong password. So in that case we will say invalid email or password. And in the else condition, what we will do, simply show a toast with the error and that specific E, and that will be more specific if we show the E dot specific message that has come, and also change it for the sign up page. Here put it in the curly braces E dot message. So that's it for these exceptions. And also in the sign in page, also not forget to stop the circular progress indicator if some exception occur. So that was it for the catching exception while signing in to the application or signing up to the application. Now after this, simply how to start your application to reset everything, and then we will go for testing it. So first of all we will start from the sign up. So here go to the sign up page. So in here first of all let's put the username, and let's say Steve Jobs again, and let's put the jobs@gmail.com and from 1 to 6, and also let's confirm it from the browser. Here we have already the jobs account, so close it again, and we also entered the jobs again. So let's sign up, and here this time you can see it shows an indicator. This shows an toast and says the account is already in use, but the indicator does not went again to the infinite stat. So again, if I again click the sign up, and you can see the account already exists for that email, and we got this toast message, the account already exists for that email. And for this invalid email and weak password, we will not get that just because we are already handling it. If the email format was not correct, if the email does not contain the @, simply this will be incorrect email. Or there is one regex for correctly check the format of the email. So you will also learn this in the future videos when you go for real-time application. First of all, we are checking the format of the email just like this. If it contains the @, simply this will be formatted email, otherwise this will not be formatted. And the password, you are already checking if the value was less than 6, simply you'll say must be at least 6 characters. So that's why these fields will not be executed as you are handling it already in the fields. So we have this sign up exception that we have cached. Let's try it again. The account already exists for that email, and if we put some other, let's say we put the job SSS, and this time if we sign up, this will now navigate us to the success page, and new user will be created in here with the email jobs. There will be SSS, and that's the different email from this one. So you have seen we have handled that specific exception. Now let's log out this and go to the sign in page. Now here we have the user not found. So let's also put some wrong email in here. Let's say abc@gmail.com from 1 to 7 password, let's say, and sign in, and let's say user not found. And that was this exception that we have handled. And again, we stop our indicator from being again in the infinite state. And for the wrong password, let's say, and we put the jobs@gmail.com, we have this user in the database. Simply let's say we put password from 1 to 5, 6, 7, and the password is from 1 to 6, And now if you sign in, this will say invalid email or password, as we have shown the invalid email or password in here. For this, when the wrong password is entered, now put in here the 6 sign in, and this will navigate us to the success page. And that was it for this section. We have signed up to the application, we have signed into the application, and also we have also done this. If the user is signed in, we must see the auth success page, or in your case, if you are building the real-time application, there will be the home page of your application, and if the user is not signed in, there must be the sign in page. And we also handled some relevant exceptions to the sign in with email and password, and also create user with email and password. So that was it for this Firebase authentication, and see you in the next section.